Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Travel, life, and fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
You're listening to the Life Adventurous Podcast, presented by SayWHA Radio.
Welcome to another episode of the Life Adventurous Podcast. I'm Jenny Holla, your host and Life Adventurist, of course, and I am so excited that you're here. Of course, thank you for being a awesome listener of the show. If you don't know, I have another podcast that my husband Jay and I are on called the Holistic Life Show. And that show has actually hit the top 100 charts in Italy in a couple different categories, which we are super excited about that. And I share that with you because we are also looking to grow this show. So if you could please share this, invite other friends, share this podcast with other friends who you think would really benefit from it. If you are listening on Apple iTunes, if you could leave a review, 5-star review, let us know how we are doing. And of course, we want to continue to give you even more amazing things. And we continue with another episode on the spirit animal season. And today's animal is the wolf. And to be honest, when I was sitting here thinking about what I was going to bring to you today and talk about today as it related to the wolf, I just sat and paused for a minute. Because the wolf spirit is about turning knowledge into wisdom. And even just looking at the wolf here on these cards, and if this is your first episode turning in on the series of the Spirit Animal series, these are actually inspired by Colette Baron Reed, the Spirit Animal Oracle. And I pulled cards for each episode, right? And so when I pull cards, I set the intention that the card I would pull would be the message that not only myself, but you would also need to hear in this moment. And the wolf spirit came up for this episode. And so I'm looking at the beautiful artwork on here, and this wolf just has a look that pierces you in a good way. It's just like that wisdom look, just like you feel like looking into the eyes of this wolf, that there's just a lot of knowledge and wisdom here. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of life experience. It's almost as if this wolf has seen many things, some things in which the wolf will not tell you about. Some things this wolf will just teach you through its ways. Kind of reminds me of an elephant, but in a very different way. I just kind of paused because I was thinking, what is it that I can share with you? What is it that I can bring to the table in this conversation? Because as I was reading, the card and what this stands for, is it's talking about, any lessons that you've learned in your journey of life, is you don't leave them unexamined. I was looking up a little bit of stuff here on Google too, and just kind of really just grasping and wrapping my head around this whole concept of turning knowledge into wisdom and what it really means. And I came over a couple of things that caught my eye. And one of them was talking about how wisdom is a virtue that isn't innate, and it can only be acquired through experience. And so it says that a lot of times people think that knowledge and wisdom are the same thing, but you cannot have wisdom without knowledge. And also, just by having knowledge doesn't automatically mean that you have wisdom. It's a matter of really just like reflecting and having the life experiences and analyzing them, and then also putting that knowledge into work, putting that knowledge to the test, applying that knowledge, is what then helps you to become a wise person, helps you to have that wisdom and step into that wisdom. And another thing that I saw was about this concept of knowing when to let go and when to hold on. And this site had said, wisdom is always found in this dynamic of exchange. Wise individuals know what to hold fast to and what to release. Those who are foolish hold fast to what will kill them and release what would bring them life. It's just deep. Because I think about us as humans, like human race in general, right? As a collective, a population, where so many of the people are just really just an automatic. I've talked about this before, and it's been a while since I've brought this metaphor into what I'm talking about. It's like a car. You know how there's an automatic car and a manual car? I mean, most have automatic cars, but when you drive an automatic, you really don't have to think a whole lot. Like, yes, you have to pay attention to the road and the people around you. You have to do that regardless when you're driving. But driving an automatic is literally just like, simple. Park, reverse, drive, neutral. Like it's there's not that much to do. Once you put the car in the right gear, it just goes. You just press the gas, you press the brake. You don't have to think a whole lot, right? The thing about a manual car, if you've never driven one, a manual car, is that you have to put the car in each gear. You have to put the car in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And then, of course, in reverse and neutral. But as you're accelerating, you're pushing one foot on the clutch and the other one on the gas, and then you're putting it into that gear. And all the time, you are working in the manual, like, especially if you're going on hills, right? You're like rolling back, you're trying not to hit somebody, like you're working a lot more. And even though that manual car can become automatic because it just becomes second nature, you're still like active in the process. Okay. And so if you think about those two examples and you think about our life, you know, so many people out in the world, and this could be you as well, is so many people just live their life in automatic. You know, it's just like an automatic process. Like I get up in the morning, I have my coffee, I drive to work, I go to work, I hate my work, or maybe I like it, whatever. I get off at 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. I drive home. I maybe pick up fast food on the way home, or I eat something when I get home. I maybe see my family. I go to bed. I do it all over. Like it's just this process that just goes over and over. Maybe you get home and you watch TV or you watch the news or whatever it is you do. And it just happens over and over and over. And it's like in a blink of an eye, time goes by and you weren't really like active in your life. You weren't really present because it was just like life was happening to you. Okay, or life is happening to you if this is your current scenario. However, I feel that for a lot of us in 2020, with everything that happened, it was almost like life, 2020, took you and shook you out of automatic. It shook you out of automatic, and now you're in manual. And for some of y'all don't know how to drive a manual car for shit. You're trying to figure this out. You're like first gear, fourth gear, screeching because you haven't had to do this. Or maybe you did it a long time ago and you forgot. Because when you're in manual, you are actively driving your life. You're actively driving your car. And you get to choose where you go and what that experience is like and how smooth it is and how bumpy, you know, like you get to like determine the pace and you get to do all of that. And I think about like, we have so much knowledge available to us. We have so many things, so many different lessons and life experiences we have learned. However, if you've spent a lot of your life in like automatic, how many lessons have you learned? Like how much knowledge do you have? Have you been feeding more knowledge into your life? Versus if you're in manual, like you're actively looking for ways to grow and develop and learn more. And even for 2020, like ways for how you can step into more bliss and freedom and joy because you're in control. Because freedom is yours. Go back to Horse Spirit if you haven't listened to that. Listen to that episode or re-listen to it. But really stepping into that freedom. Stepping into that, it's just a different mindset. I really thought of the analogy of our life being in manual or automatic. And so the question is your life right now, like where is it? Are you manual or automatic? Or were you in automatic? And then you got like jump started into manual and you're trying to figure out how to make manual work for you. And I'm curious, do you miss the automatic? Or are you actually enjoying the manual? Because for me, I feel like when the wolf spirit shows up, the wolf spirit to me is like a reminder of this life experience that we have. This knowledge that we learn, especially if you are a lifelong learner And especially if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to say you are, right? And you're looking to learn, you're looking to grow. If you're living your life in manual where you're looking to grow it and whatnot, that you have even more of an opportunity to turn all of that knowledge into wisdom because you're applying that knowledge. You're applying those life experiences, life choices into your life. You're putting it to the test. And now it's turning into wisdom. Now you're this wolf on this car looking at me with those like deep eyes that just are like the old soul. I want to go to this wolf spirit on this card and just be like, man, tell me the ways of the world. I want to know, because it's powerful. Versus if you're living your life in automatic, you may have a lot of knowledge, but how much is that knowledge is turning into wisdom? Because really the idea is are you present and active in your life and creating your life? And you're like you're actively doing the first gear, second gear, third gear, like you're actively doing that? Or are you just kind of like passive in your life and you're just reacting and responding to the world around you versus choosing how you react or respond to the world around you? One of the most powerful sentences in the book here about the wolf spirit is you are the one you've been waiting for. I think that's so powerful because this is a lesson that I've been learning here recently, in that I've spent so much time looking for external guidance, praise, confirmation, explanations, etc. And there's so much that's calling me to go internal. There's so many things that are reminding me to go internal and to be able to, it sounds so cliche, it's like be able to turn knowledge into wisdom. Because like I've read the books, I've read the things, and so much of me knows that that's what's next. But in order to apply that knowledge and turn it into wisdom, all of that wisdom will be gained from going inside and connecting to myself and to being able to listen to my guides, my higher self, my soul, the energy, all of those things, right? And stepping into that. And like this card says, is you are the one you've been waiting for. You are truly in alignment with your destiny. Just let that sink in. How much time have you spent really embodying the wolf spirit and remembering to review your lessons? Remembering to go inside, noticing when your life has moved from manual to automatic, and then waking back up and be like, oh, I want to go back in manual. I think it's okay to be in automatic for a bit. Like there's nothing wrong with automatic unless you're in it so long that it's not serving you, right? Where you're just kind of like a bystander of your life. So many questions. I'm just thinking like wisdom. Do we want it? Do we crave it? It's like a reflection. It's just, and that's exactly, it's kind of like the thing. It's like you're thinking about the lessons, you're reflecting. I feel at so much peace looking at this card. Like, I feel like words can't even really explain, but maybe right there, that's the power of wisdom. I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you and how this has impacted you, helped you to grow, what ideas you have. Of course, the best way to share them is on Instagram at The Life Adventurist. Shoot me a DM, or of course, please take a screenshot of this and put it on your stories and tag me. We'd love to hear what you loved about this episode. And I am so excited to continue on this journey with the spirit animals with you. You're going to love the next episode. I have a pretty kick-ass surprise for you, so make sure you tune in next week for the next episode, which is going to be Hawk Spirit. So excited for that one. All right. Follow me and hit me up on Instagram at The Life Adventurist. Have a good day. Thank you for listening to the Life Adventurist podcast. If you love this episode, remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. For course information, freebies, and to stay connected, join our Ohana. That means family at www.2jhala.com/Ohana. Remember to stay positive, enjoy the journey, and most of all, keep those eyes open for all of the adventures surrounding you.